Everyone see my screen here? Perfect. So my goal today was to talk about something boring. That was my goal. And this is fine because everyone already blocked this out on their calendar. You guys got food in front of you. You guys get to see a bunch of cute bunnies. So I want to teach you a little bit about rabbit warrens and what they can teach us potentially about the entire world. So rabbit warrens are created by this guy. Okay, well, not specifically this guy, but this is the European rabbit or Rictolagus cuniculus. He's an Rictolagus cuniculus with a plan, though. It's a plan that he and his fluffle have developed for the last 2 million years. And yes, fluffle is the scientific word for a group of rabbits. I don't make the rules. But just like us, these rabbits need a place to shelter and to feel safe from the scary world of the Iberian Peninsula. This is where they're primarily found, and there are hungry attackers everywhere in the Iberian Peninsula, and these attackers are very smart, but the Fluffle is smarter. They carry out their plan and work together to build a huge subterranean network of burrows, tunnels, chambers, and surface entrances to keep themselves safe. That network is what we call a warren. They probably call it something else. But this guy and his Fluffle from before are way smarter than they look because these warrens are actually incredibly complicated and could even make a seasoned architect jealous. They have these large main entrances for daily operational traffic, but they also have what are called bolt holes, which are their secret escape routes. The main tunnels are about 4 to 6 inches wide and are easily visible, but the bolt holes are much sneakier. They're very short and nearly vertical, and by digging them from the inside out into thick brush, pushing the dirt behind them to keep it from piling up in the front, they are totally hidden from the outside. The emergency exits that they build ensure that their escape routes are redundant and that they always have a way out. So the rabbit is able to escape through the bolt holes, but the predator might still get into the warren. If one of the burrows is compromised, rabbits actually know better than to just leave it be. Luckily, the warren is flexible and robust because they designed it modularly. Each breeding female, which is called a doe, gets her own dedicated nursery chamber, which she lines with dry grass, leaves, and soft fur in order to insulate her babies, which are called kitten. If one of the chambers of the warren is compromised, they physically pack the internal tunnels tightly with mud and dirt walls, isolating their assets and effectively trapping whatever the issue is in a dead end. So there's a slight problem that can arise from this, though. When the entire fluffle is deep underground and you're sealing off the entrances, you're potentially trapping a ton of carbon dioxide in the chambers and suffocating your family. But they know this because it probably happened at one point. So it just so happens that our rabbit's day job is being a physicist. This, um, and he knows how to leverage natural physics to protect his family from suffocation. And in rabbit college, he learned about something called the Venturi effect. To leverage this, he digs ventilation holes at different elevations to create a natural ventilation system. When the wind blows over the higher hole, it creates a pocket of low pressure. This causes the fresh air to be pulled in through the lower holes where the pressure is higher. Innately, the rabbit knows when the system is full of stale air, it starts to become destructive. It's almost as if their system needs some form of garbage collection. Like letting garbage sit around causes the system to collapse. So at this point, I'm starting to think that we should start interviewing European rabbits for intern positions to help us develop software. These creatures have never touched a static class method, but were born with a sort of primal instinct to handle their own form of network redundancy, develop their systems with modularity in mind, and even cleverly automate garbage collection. I mean, come on. They leave fallbacks for escape routes in their warren in case one of them is compromised. Developers and system administrators, they do something very similar with a concept known as asymmetric failovers. Asymmetric failovers are when a system fails and the responsibilities are picked up by a secondary system that has different hardware specifications than the primary node. I mean, if you really think about it, they faced the same problem in their own context and solved it. We also learned that they block off compromised chambers to isolate threats from the rest of the Warren, and they're able to do this because they follow a modular design pattern. Developers and security engineers know that following a modular design pattern allows us to isolate or allows us to leverage isolation and containment for incident responses. Our modular design enables us to isolate vulnerable pieces of a network and contain a threat without taking the entire system down. The rabbits evolved to understand that stale air is dangerous if not ventilated from the warren, so they leverage physics to create passive airflow throughout the network. To the keen system engineer, this might feel like the biological equivalent of automated garbage collection. Stay with me. Just like how a warren requires constant passive ventilation to prevent asphyxiation, a software system needs automated background processes to continuously purge dead sessions, clear stale cache, and prevent memory leaks. If you only focus on processing inputs but fail to architect a continuous passive loop to clear out the toxic byproduct, the entire system eventually suffocates and crashes under its own weight. Well, I think it's safe to say that we could probably learn a thing or two from our rabbit friends. And the truth is, this isn't about rabbit warrens, it's about rabbit holes. By diving into rabbit holes about things that we don't know anything about, we can learn a lot of things about our work, our passions, and ourselves from what presents itself as the mundane and unrelated. Under every rabbit hole, it unfolds a world of complexity and intricacy, and they hold universal truths and ideas that might teach us things we might never have thought were connected. That's why I encourage you to keep this in mind the next time you don't quite understand something that you don't really care about, because I think you'd be surprised with what new things you can pop out of a rabbit hole knowing. Thank you.